Well, good morning. Um, Welcome to the product and innovation panel. Um, for the next 45 minutes, we will be discussing the role of technology, innovation in the disruption of the market-bearing products. We have a very distinguished panel today. Ladies first, with Fernanda Zago, CEO and co-founder of WEpayments. It's a Brazilian institution that has been licensed by the central bank. Fernanda has more than 12 years of experience into B2B cross-market payments, and she's in front of WEpayments and responsible for the business development, expansion, and partnership. Beyond that, Fernanda is a true advocate of consumer experience, and we'll talk more about that this morning. And Naushad Contractor, CEO of Fable, an old friend. He's a very hands-on payment fintech technology leader with 15 years of experience in designing, launching, and operating payment systems. Fable is a global, world-class basis infrastructure in the B2B space. And finally, Alex Voronovich, CashQ founder and CEO. He's a hands-on payment fintech technology leader with 15 years of global experience in designing, launching, and operating payment systems. We will go in with a set of questions. I'll go first with questions which were sent by the audience in advance. We will assign it to each of the panelists according to experience, but then feel free to jump in as well and comment. And at the back end, we will carve some time so that there's a Q&A interaction with live questions from you. So let's keep the questions casual, focused, and data-driven so that we can take the most. It's going to be 45 minutes. Please feel free to get us your questions. Thank you in advance to the three panelists. Thank you for being here and sharing. Start with the first question, and this comes for Fernanda. If you can please share your thoughts on the key innovations that are disrupting the ecosystem.
Thank you everybody for being here. It's a pleasure being part of this panel. Well, being working in the cross-border payment industry, focused on B2B for more than 12 years now, I have seen a lot of change. Obviously, I'm more focused in Brazil. I was, for some time, focused in Latin America as well, but with WEpayments, we are very specialized in Brazil. Along this decade, we could see that a lot has changed, especially in the latest years where most of the markets are looking at instant payments. So I can say that the biggest innovation is instant cross-border payments. We think for the past 4 years in Brazil, we have launched PIX, Central Bank of Brazil launched our instant payment method. And the biggest innovation I can see is that cross-border payments need to be truly instant, truly real time. We're not only talking about paying today and you're going to receive your payments by the end of the day or tomorrow. There's no more space for that. So I can see that all the businesses, and when I say B2B, I say B2B2C. B2B2C, the clients have the urge to receive the payments real time. So I think the biggest innovation is how we are moving money and how we are having the same transaction operation and the payment operation, like how we move funds around the world, how we actually make the payments become real instant. So this is one of the innovations I have seen, and this is there's no way back. But when we talk about innovation as well, is related to the whole ecosystem. It's not only related to payments itself, because I've been talking to some of the people that is here watching us, and my personal opinion is that payments are going to become a commodity. Like payment methods are becoming a commodity. Like I can integrate to PIX in Brazil, I can integrate to Baloto in Colombia, but the way we innovate with this, the whole solution, I think that's the key to where we are now. And we need to look at compliance, better customer experience, better scalability of our system. So innovation comes along with the whole solution and not only with the payment methods itself.
Actually, Pix has been a very pleasant surprise. It's become the beacon not only of the region, but as well the beacon in the world. It's been benchmarked as best in breed from the design to the execution. How translatable do you think is the experience in Brazil? I know that you're expanding to the rest of the markets.
Yeah, we are expanding to other markets, and what we have been studying is how instant payments are in other markets. Some markets in Latin America do have what we call instant payments, but some of them will not work in weekends or holidays, and they are instant, but they won't work during the night. They will work Monday to Friday. So I think that instant payments, and this is again my personal opinion, and based on what I have been seeing lately on the events I have been participating, is that this is a trend. This is the new move that we will see around the world. There are incentives for instant payments in Europe. There we have SEPA, right? They are instant. In the United States, they have been developing instant payments as well. As I said, Latin America as well. So I think the way Central Bank of Brazil itself has created Pix, they have created Pix as a kind of open technology that can be plugged in other countries. So we have seen that, for example, Italy is one of the countries that is very keen on integrating similar solutions. So I think we might see that happening in the next couple of years in different countries as well. And if you allow me to add, the Central Bank of Brazil is also developing international Pix. So the international Pix is the one that is going to connect with Italy, for example, as I mentioned, and is going to work real time with the countries that are keen to integrate the same solution, same technology.
Thank you. I mean, it's the beacon to watch. Alex, I'm interested in your experience. You're going on a global basis as well. What are your thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, CashQ is a global push payment platform. We are working with the different countries, continents. Overall, we have 150 countries integrated to our platform with different push-to methods. I mean, push to card, push to account, push to wallet, push to bank. And we see the trend, a lot of innovations, including the nationwide systems. That's Pix in Brazil, also UPI India, also Spain, Mexico, 24/7 interbank transactions. But also we see P27 Nordic region project, Euro instant settlement tips, Nexus in Malaysia, Singapore, like Dunbar. In Asia, we see the cross-border payment interoperability network. And more and more, we see the rise of interbank real-time systems in the countries, and we see the geographic interconnection between these platforms. Also, I would love to say thank you for our major card networks for rise and operating push to cards. I mean, the Visa Direct, MasterCards, and the local cards already implemented this type of the payments. It's a general systems, but also we see rise of the neobanks, and with API integration with these neobanks, you can also provide the real-time payments for businesses, for the consumers, for different purposes. The general trend in the innovation is the API integration and the instant. But also, I would like to highlight the technology part of our technology stack. We're actively using AI, artificial intelligence, for different questions, including compliance, including fraud prevention, including also the code development. The applications can be run much faster. Next part of the innovation, it's a blockchain-based. I'm talking about the central bank digital currency, what in future can give us the additional payment system, what could be very interesting for the settlements. Just a brief. Yeah.
No, thank you for asking. Next question comes to Naushad, actually. Given that Fable is the first stacked full integrated infrastructure, very keen to understand your thoughts regarding web-based applications that would allow the best in-breed solutions for customers while keeping it as well state of the art.
So thank you for having me here. The most important part about our business, in my opinion, is to understand the objective of our clients and then their clients. So if we don't keep them at the center of our discussions, it becomes a nice, amazing platform, but nobody wants to buy it, or nobody wants to use it, or nobody needs to use it. So this whole, the whole real-time payments and foreign remittances started not because the customer needed the money the next minute, or their father in their home country, all the fathers were dying, or anything like that was happening. That was not the reason for it to happen. The main reason for it to happen was that they wanted to not have a worry about what will be the final exchange rate applied to my remittance. That was the cause for which real-time payments in cross-border started. Like I said, not everybody is dying of hunger or dying of a medical emergency across the millions of transactions that happen on a daily basis. So the main driver was actually that. So it's very important for us to understand what's the main driver of a certain phenomena. It's another misconception that the mobile has come and the web is going to get finished. It's actually quite the other way around. Whatever happens on the web will be embellished by the mobile. So technologies need to be developed in such a way that they can be interchangeably used. And I would go so much far as to say that in the foreseeable future, 3 to 5 years, physical branch banking, physical branch locations are not going to just go away and vanish. So the platform has to be compliant to be used on the web, at a physical location, as well as on the mobile. So if we don't build it web one first, which can then be used anywhere else, again, we would be failing in our objective, because we are nobody to decide how our client should access his requirement. Should it be physically in a shop? Should it be on a mobile, or should it be on the internet? I don't know. Maybe I'm shopping in a mall, just waiting for my wife to finish, and then I'll use a physical location, even though I'm extremely technology savvy. So it's very difficult to say why somebody would use a particular channel. But the web is the basis of all of these things, because in-branch or in physical location platforms also are driven by the web. People don't know it. They don't need to know it, because the customer doesn't really care whether you're using web or eb or deb, as long as his transaction finishes. Very similar to in telecom, when I call from a Verizon phone to an AT&T phone, the client doesn't have to worry about whether it's going through an Alcatel-Lucent tower or a Nokia Siemens tower. For him, Verizon is working or not, and AT&T is working or not. So we need to be very clear that the brand we are selling to the customer takes care of choosing the right partners, the right approaches, having the right redundancy. And of course, in the particular case of our payment world, the web is going to be the backbone of multiple customer experiences. That's my view. Thanks.
No, and thank you for sharing. A follow-up question to what you mentioned, which is illuminating. It's I've seen Fable expanding on a worldwide basis. Actually, in this particular CrossTech, we have focused quite a lot in compliance, regulation, and so forth. How do you address the cross-border with the increased scrutiny and different compliance?
So the biggest winner or loser in any platform is its design, right? If it is not designed properly, it doesn't matter how well you build on top. If the foundation of the building is weak, it will crumble, or it will show signs of wear very soon. And the big mistake which we make in general in our business is we design our platforms to be compliant for each country. And what should happen is they should be designed to be compliant for each corridor. So we should be able to set compliance rules, limits, whatever, from and to. I'll give you a very easy, quick, simple example. When we sell platforms to banks in the US, if the money is going to India, there's a limit, there's an Indian regulation that says you cannot pay out cash more than 50,000 Indian rupees. That's the Indian regulation. Whereas there's no such regulation in Pakistan or Kenya or Egypt, right? I could make 500,000 local currency payout in cash. There's no limit. So the system that's been deployed in the US has to know that the moment that the target country is India, and the target currency amount goes over 50,000 rupees, automatically the option of cash should get out of there. They should not even be there, selected by mistake. And when you build your systems corridor specific is only the only time you can make it corridor compliant. Because rule setting is very easy, but setting it in a way that is compliant to the corridor, both this way and that way, is what makes a platform special. And these words we use about inward and outward and all is all country specific. From a platform level, it's just from and to. So as long as you've done that thought process saying, what's the most important, what's the next important, what's the next important, and you've done that in a configurable manner, is when your platform start becoming easily usable at scale. So, we process about $25 billion a year today, which is, and we do it with a very, very lean team, and that's only because the platform has been designed, we believe, hopefully, with the domain expertise that myself, my team, my CTO, etc., bring to the table. Technology is a side effect. It's the domain expertise actually what we deploy.
Like always, Naushad, you're a humble warrior. I know Naushad, he was the brains behind the expansion of M-Pesa in India. And it started with a conversation. It's great to see how it's exploding these days. Let's shift into mobile, and I'll go to you, Alex, in particular. How do you manage the balance between consumer-friendly mobile applications, but at the same time being very protective-friendly with the consumer privacy and so forth?
Yeah, that's a good question, because for the recent years, we saw the trend for the door closing, for the gatekeeping, where applications set up additional authentication, multi-factor authentication, long password, which is super inconvenient for the users, And this is a good question: how to keep the user data, how to protect the customer, how to protect the user, and at the same time keep your application convenient for the use, easy to use. And this is a trend, what we see today, where you need to implement ongoing monitoring of the customer activity, where it can be like a seamless, where you can be, where you can control the transaction activity, where you can use all innovative technologies like AI, machine learning to detect suspicious activity, to protect and to make the proactive approach to the security, not to set more locks on the door, not to set more restrictions on the entering, because it could be super inconvenient, and sometimes the customer can select your competition, your competitor application instead your application, because it's inconvenient to use for the same use. And the right approach, it's a balance between the security and friendliness, and the right answer for this, using the technology, including AI, including machine learning, to detect, for the early detection for any kind of suspicious activity, and proactively flag it, probably blocking, but to help your customer, not to fight with your customer, to help your customer to protect their data.
Thank you. And you touched on a key point. There's a question following this on artificial intelligence, which I will be very keen to understanding both of your perspectives, but let me shift a second to consumer experience. So basically, you have the basic functionality of payments. What are the other killer functionalities that make the application like robust? And how do you incorporate them?
Right, yeah, I think just briefly explaining what we do, because I think it's very different from what my fellow panelists do. We help international companies that need to process payments in Brazil. They need to sell services or products to Brazil. So what we do, our service is a B2B to C in the end. So we serve companies around the world, companies from Europe, from United States, from Asia. And when we talk about, how we build the system and, talking about compliance and everything, we see we have two different moments where we need to take care about compliance, we need to take care about data and etc. Because I have to run a due diligence on the merchants, on the companies that are going to process payments with us, and we are going to need to be sure that the person that is paying or receiving the payments is also compliant with local regulations. So I understand you guys said that it is a challenge, and we need to make sure that we are running, we have technology and we have solutions that will be able to do that kind of real time as well, because you need to onboard our clients as soon as possible. Right. And then talking about technology itself and how we do that in our business, as I said before, the technology needs to be scalable. So one of the things we do is, as we serve merchants from different industries, they will have different needs as well. So an e-commerce from Asia is going to have different needs from a gaming company from the US or a SaaS company from the US. They have different needs in terms of what is the checkout solution. Is going to be a white label? Is going to be payment? Is going to be instant? So what we have done in terms of technology, we make sure that maximum of our processes are automated. This is one of the things. And the other thing is that once you serve merchants from different industries, they will need to have a type of customization. And if you need to customize for every client you have, that's a big burden and you are not able to scale. So when we first started developing our system, we developed an agnostic system where we have created different flags, and depending on which industry this merchant comes from, I will flag on or flag off. So it's kind of a customization, but I won't stop my developing team to really customize and take 2 months to serve that particular industry. And as more as you process for different sectors, you learn and you get your system better, and you can create different flags for different industries as well. So yeah, this is what I think we do in terms of serving our clients.
Any further thoughts on this matter? Anything that you want to add?
Yeah, so the client experience of the client in this B2B2C example is the most important thing, because if you think you're building something which your client needs, but their client doesn't need it, it becomes redundant. So I completely agree with Fernanda there, in particular about making sure that we keep that at the center of our thinking. But having said that, the world has moved so quickly that you no longer have the luxury of time to react to either competition or regulation. In our platforms across the world, we commonly joke, well, Osama is not allowed, Obama is also not allowed. So it needs to be, you need to take care of so many things at one time. But we also should draw the line on, are we overcomplicating it? And the example to that is, at the end of the day, the bank on the other side is also responsible to do certain things. Okay? So should we do very basic checks and leave the big ones to them because they anyway are supposed to do it? Or should we overcomplicate it and, overkill? If you shoot a rabbit with an elephant rifle, there's nothing left to eat. The rabbit disintegrates. So you also need to be very careful of not over-managing in certain cases. And that's not, well, it's very easy to sit here and say this. It's very difficult to actually implement it based on corridor to corridor to corridor. What might be useful in, unfortunately for the world, a large part of the world thinks of Latin America as one country and Africa as one country. And that's not true. It's very, very, very far away from the truth, Africa is genuinely 40 countries. Latin America is genuinely, 20 countries. And because of multiple reasons, regulations, needs, ticket sizes, levels of compliance will always differ. And if we don't build from that perspective, saying, I'm going to use scope A for country A and scope B for country B, and I'm able to then do that, replicate it across 150 countries, that's when it becomes a platform that is difficult to copy. Otherwise, technology has become so commoditized that everybody is copying with pride. And, beyond the point, patents have no value, in my personal opinion. So nobody can actually sue somebody for copying their platform in today's world. It's next to impossible to prove that it's a genuine copy. So I think that's what we need to take care of, saying, are we trying to make a one-size-fits-all platform? Or are we making sure that, for whatever is required is switched on, and whatever is not required is then switched off?
Thank you. I mean, and now that you touch upon, and I'll be interested on all your takes, but it seems that in all the conversations, artificial intelligence and blockchain are playing, is the hype. It's playing a major role, central role, which is going to disrupt. A compound thought is, but how can companies leverage this technology into driving adoption? And then what is the most that you can get in today's environment? Who wants to start? I'll start. Yeah,
so the most important thing, at least from my perspective, is to remember that, at least me, neither am I artificial nor am I intelligent. If we start from there, that's the right place to start. If you start from the other way, say I am artificial and intelligent, you're going to get it completely wrong. The other thing in artificial intelligence specifically and blockchain a little more generally is we need to be very clear on where it will actually add value. The difference between a conference and a conference room. All the answers in conferences are a little different from those you will expect in conference rooms. So in conferences, you may hear things like, I can apply artificial intelligence to everything. I can tomorrow start eating food on my own without touching the food. That kind of stuff, you'll hear it in conferences. But when somebody asks you to put your money where your mouth is in making a business plan in a conference room, you would not be able to do it that way. And on blockchain especially, I think it's very important for us to understand leveraging blockchain is got two aspects. One is you try to create your own blockchain so that you can go to the market and say, I created a blockchain, but nobody's going to use it. Or we then become part of blockchain networks such as Ripple, Stellar, R3. India is building its own blockchain network where all the banks are getting together and building the India blockchain. It's easier to just participate in that and trying to build your own blockchain. So on both these things, we just need to be careful of not kind of overcommitting our resources to that, going along with the market, keeping the corner of your eye on it, but not completely focusing on that and losing focus on your main business.
Shall I complement? Being very transparent, as you said, in terms of blockchain, we have been studying blockchain for a couple of years, maybe more, 4 years already. When we just first started developing our software, we thought maybe easy blockchain. That was the time that Ripple was, showing up, and maybe it's a time to use blockchain. And then being very transparent with you, in our business, we still didn't see a way of using blockchain because we have developed everything on API, and all the partners do use API nowadays. So I am like, yeah, that might work, but for messaging, that might not work really well because we are all connected through APIs. And just linking blockchain with crypto, I think that might have a way of doing different things using crypto, like the way we now move funds cross-border, we do FX and etc. Might have a way of crypto linked to blockchain. And in regards to artificial intelligence, I didn't see yet how we're going to do that in terms of payment itself, but we definitely have a room on doing that on compliance and legal. The way we nowadays check, tax IDs and check if the person is on a blacklist, whatever, and the way we onboard our clients, I think we can definitely use artificial intelligence to speed up and to make our systems understand, who is an actual fraudster, who is not an actual fraudster. So I think there is a big room for that, but the artificial intelligence is not there yet. We didn't see actually that application working for that. Obviously, we have GPT, and another day, my clients are not here, but one of them is, but the other day, I just made a proposal for one client using ChatGPT, and it was perfect. I just need to review. So artificial intelligence is here. We just need a way of using that. But for now, it's very basic. How I'm going to make my system understand that, making a new contract, So I think there's a lot of room. We just need to learn how to use that.
Thank you. Alex, now you need to hack.
Yeah, great.
You need to hack GPT.
Yeah. First of all, the blockchain, what we have today, that's technology what we already have many years. And that's, in some cases, it's absolutely amazing technology, especially for the instant settlement between the companies. I'm talking about the stable coins, USDC, USDT. I see instant liquidity, one of the company from this conference providing the instant liquidity with stable coins, which is so innovative. It's super convenient, where you can reduce, timing for the operation. You can reduce the fees if you are using stable coins for the settlement. It's absolutely amazing technology. We'll see in the nearest future what we will get from the central bank digital currency initiative, where many governments already involved, and we are waiting for the final release. The AI in general today is a booming of AI, and we see the boom, especially ChatGPT, generative networks like a BART, like a ChatGPT. Large language models can help you in your business, in general, in your business with automation of simple repeated tasks, including the support. What we right now working to connect your Zendesk or what you are using for your help desk system to connect with a language model with AI bot, and this AI bot can help your clients with 95 or 99% of the cases what happened if it happened. The compliance, that's absolutely the main value of large language models. It's a lot of knowledge, what already a lot of information what this system was trained, and you can use this information for your compliance needs, for some internal compliance related questions, what absolutely we have, all of us have in our daily routines. The security AI can help you to protect your customers, to be angel for your customers, to detect, as already mentioned, detect unusual patterns. The customer activity can flag and can prevent some possible problem with your customers. Personalizing of the customer experience. You can use the data, you can use a lot of data, and plus you can use the generative model to combine all data and to provide the personalized experience where you can adjust your application for your business clients, for your business customers. What could be great? That endless list, you know.
Thank you.
Just one thing I'd like to add
Go
is
ahead,
I've been saying this for 3 or 4 years to multiple people, and I still maintain it, that the most important part of an AI platform of any kind is the kill switch. I mean, the last thing I want is to sit in my car and it for telling me, I can't take you home today because there's a rally going on there. Sorry, I'm not going to take you home. That's the last thing you want to do. And I'm just taking a non-financial example for easy understanding. At that time, I should be able to kill it and drive home. So I think that's one of the most important parts, at least in the foreseeable future. To have a kill switch on an AI platform is the most important part.
That's an interesting thought. We have the luxury of time. Let's take a couple of live questions, if available. And just before parting, think about it. I want to get your parting thoughts of how this industry, how this space is going to look in 10, 15 years from now. Just let your imagination flow. But before that, any questions or comments from the audience? Shy audience this morning? We're competing with lunch. So let's take, we are pressure with time. We have 6 minutes to go. So who wants to take it first? How would the industry, how this space would look in the next 10 to 15 years?
I think instant payments will be king. Interconnection between the networks will be dramatically simplified. And my dream world in the nearest future will be like you can send the payment seamlessly to anyone, any country with without any problem. This is first part. Second part, the world will become more safer because the rise of the technologies, blockchain, AI, machine learning, a lot of innovations. What can be used to reduce level of the fraud, and we will be more protected in the nearest future. There's 2 main topics, yeah. Better and safer.
Thank you. Fernanda?
Yeah, I agree with that, but that is really a really hard question to answer. Been talking to a few people here, and I've been going to so many events, fintech events, Web Summit, etc. Here. And these fintech events in London, they were supposed to give us an idea of what's going to happen with the fintechs within a year. And everybody says, what did they say? I said, they don't know. Nobody knows, actually. Well, there are incentives on open banking stuff, instant payments. Obviously, this is what we are seeing already. But talking a little bit about the whole environment, this is so hard to answer. There's so many new companies, appearing all the time, and big international and worldwide cross-border payment processors. And I feel like what's going to happen, I believe in two things. One of them is collaboration. We will need to collaborate with each other. There is not enough room for everyone, so we'll need to be specialized as well. You need to be very good in what you do. And if you don't want to be very good in what you do, you need to plug someone that is very good in what they do. So I think collaboration is the key, and we'll see more accommodation in terms of competition. So we'll have big ones, but we'll have a lot of fintechs and small companies collaborate with the big ones as well. This is what I see not in 10 years, probably that in 5 years.
Thank you.
So our company is called Fable Fintech for a reason, right? I learned after 40-ish years of living that my mother and my father and my teachers were making a fool out of me. That in the fable where the hare loses to the tortoise wins because he's slow and steady. It took me 40 years to realize that the reason why the tortoise won is because there was nobody to wake up the hare in time. Right? Had they just woken him up 3 minutes before, he would have still won the race. And I think what fintech is doing today to the banks is exactly that. Slowly but surely waking them up. And I think in 3 to 5 years' time, there will be the old, if you remember 10 years back, there was Western Union, there was MoneyGram, a handful of small players, and the banks. I think that's going to get repeated. It's going to be 5 or 6 large, reasonably large global players, where multiple smaller players will get consolidated in, and then there will be the banks. Because the banks will finally wake up, they will smell the coffee and realize, saying, oh, my customer, he keeps money with me, but he uses X company to transact. Okay, what can I do to not make that not happen? They will either buy or collaborate with the fintech world and start becoming like that. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how fast they get woken up. And it's very similar to, how in the electric car world, while Tesla created the whole electric car revolution, companies like, Jaguar Land Rover and BMW and Hyundai are fast catching up. And when a real car manufacturer starts making electric cars, their experience starts becoming really cool. And now Tesla will get hot competition. I think that's exactly what's going to happen in the payments world. The incumbents and the big banks are going to start waking up and trying to do what the fintech companies are doing today, either by collaborating with them, hiring good talent, or by just buying them out.
Thank you. Very insightful. All good things come to an end. I'm getting the signal from the back. 3 parting thoughts. The first one is paraphrasing what Fernanda said earlier today, and the rest of the panelists ratified, is the focus of embracing technology and disruption, but first with consumer experience in mind, just to make sure that it's not only monetized, but it's sticky. The second one is a fine balance between getting out in the woods, but continue to being regulated and consumer friendly. And the biggest is the challenge between how to plan for solutions in the future with very unforeseen future, keep it flexible and competitive. Thanks to all. Most importantly, Fernanda, Alex, and Naushad, thank you for showing here, and to the audience. Thank you. Have a good day.